Hello, and welcome to this edition of Beyond the Law. On Beyond the Law, I discuss the issues of law in the breaking news. I also create time to discuss other issues affecting everyday living. My name is Ekemini. I'm a legal practitioner, and I'm always glad to discuss law with you. In this edition of Beyond the Law, I am discussing Baba Ijesha. Baba Ijesha is a popular comedian in Lagos State, Nigeria, and he ran into trouble sometime this year when he was accused of defilement, sexual molestation of a minor. And for that reason, he was detained at the police station and later granted bail and then taken to the court. So he's been facing trial at at the Lagos State High Court. And the news is that recently the State Council, the prosecution, closed its case against Baba Ijesha after witnesses had been paraded in court to testify against him. And now the question is, the state having concluded its trial, its prosecution, what are the options now left for Baba Ijesha? Now, Baba Ijesha has only two options. It is either Baba Ijesha decides to enter the witness box to defend himself, or he stays away from the witness box and raises a no-case submission. So in this video, I will be explaining the procedure for these two options, either entering the witness box to testify in his defense and calling witnesses to also testify in his defense, or raising a no-case submission and standing by it and then allowing the judge to rule. So like I said, he has just two options available to him, which is what is done in criminal procedure. Now, for the first option, the law says that every person accused of the commission of a criminal offense shall have the right to defend himself, fair hearing. And so the state, having concluded its testimony against Baba Ijesha by presenting 5 witnesses. At the close of the case of the prosecution, Baba Ijesha has that constitutional right to step into the witness box and then speak in his defense to debunk the case of the prosecution. And he can do that by himself and also by calling witnesses to testify in his favor. So that's the first option. And when that is done, it means that at the end of his testimony, at the end of his defense, judgment will be given by the court, either exonerating him or finding him guilty based on what the judge has arrived at in consonance with the law. The other option is for Baba Ijesha to refuse entering the witness box. So he stands away from the witness box and raises a defense. And the defense here is a defense of no case submission. Now, no case submission simply means that, my lord, I have listened to the charge. I have listened to the testimony of the prosecution witnesses. And the only conclusion in law that can be drawn is that no case known to law has been established against me, Baba Ijesha. Is that the testimony of the witnesses are so unreliable that no court of law can safely convict me based on these unreliable testimonies. And so, my lord, acquit and discharge me. Let me go home. Throw away this charge, because there is no charge in the eyes of the law proving the ingredients of the offense of child molestation or sexual assault against a child against me, Baba Ijesha. For that reason, my lord, allow me to go home. Now, if that succeeds, Baba Ijesha will be acquitted and discharged of the allegations of sexual molestation. If the judge says that at the close of the case of the prosecution, no prima facie case has been proved in law that the ingredients of the offense of child molestation has not been established against Baba Ijesha, then the judge will discharge and acquit Baba Ijesha of all charges completely and tell him to go home. But if the judge says that there is a prima facie case against Baba Ijesha, no matter how slight, then Baba Ijesha will be made to enter into the witness box and then testify, after which counsel will address the court on the evidence presented. The state counsel will his counsel, that is Baba Ijesha's counsel, is going to address the court first, followed by counsel for Lagos State government. After the two addresses, the judge will then go through and then decide whether Baba Ijesha is guilty or Baba Ijesha is not guilty. So principally, Baba Ijesha at this point has only two options left for him, which is, it is either he enters his defense immediately and testifies in his defense, enters the witness box immediately and testifies in his defense, or he raises a no-case submission saying that no prima facie case has been made out against him, for which reason he should be allowed to go home. Anyone Baba Ijesha chooses with his lawyer, it is within his right as an accused person to choose any of these two options to see how he can exonerate himself of the charges. But if he is unable to exonerate himself from the charges in the way and manner required by law, then the obvious is that judgment of the court will be passed, one way or the other, finding him guilty and then sentencing him to terms of imprisonment. But at the same time, if there is no evidence to substantiate, now this is the point, the evidence on social media, the evidence on print media is different from the evidence in court. And so what the court is going to use in passing a sentence, in deciding this case, is going to be the hard evidence as presented by the witnesses in open court for the court to examine and then take a decision. I wish all the parties the best in this. I wish the states the best in their prosecution. I also wish Baba Ijesha the best in his defense. These two sides, they have constitutional rights given to them by the law, and the verdict of the court will show exactly where the pendulum tilts heavier than the other side. So, like I said, these are the two available options for Baba Ijesha. Thank you very much for watching this very channel. I do hope you have learned one or two things about criminal procedure in the Nigerian legal system. On Beyond the Law, you can always learn as much as you can from basic principles of law. It is my mission here to see as much as I can to enlighten everybody on these very principles of law, especially the issues of law in the breaking news. I remain your friend, I remain your host, I remain your lawyer, Ekeminudim, and it's always my pleasure to have you. Do remember to subscribe to this channel so that from time to time, we can send you notifications so that you can learn as much as you can from the basic principles of law in Nigeria, in Africa, and also in every other part of the world. Thank you and remain blessed.